It's been a fun Christmas celebration this week. We're going to tell you all about it, but we're going to continue our teaching on cholesterol and statins. So let's have a great time. And good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Patrick Flynn, and welcome to this morning's A Different Perspective. I am always so glad you guys are with me on this wonderful holiday season. It has been such a fun week as we are celebrating our Christmas celebration with all the people here at the Wellness Way. We dress up from having a flannel day to pajama day to we have wonderful things that go on next week. But I will tell you this week was so much fun because we had our North Pole event. Now, let me explain what our North Pole event is. Every year, we have an event where we have Santa, we have a ton of games for the kids, we have cool people from the community that own businesses, some seasonal businesses, and also things to celebrate holidays. And so what happened is how it started was about 18 years ago, I was, at the mall walking around, Christy and I walking around with the girls, and I think it was only Faith and Trinity at the time, and literally sitting there with Santa, I looked at some of the stuff, I'm like, they charge $80 to sit with Santa for a couple pictures. I'm like, that's crazy. That following next year, we started a free event for our whole community to come get pictures with Santa, do some wonderful things, a ton of games. It takes you probably a good 45 minutes to go through our office to all the stations for the kids to play. We had free organic cookies and other things for the kids making their own Christmas cookies. It was absolutely fantastic. We had another wonderful event. But this year, I decided to do something a little bit unique. As I love Christmas, I also love the characters, and I also love the Grinch. So my wonderful executive assistant, Dion, found an amazing person that does Hollywood type things. And so I decided to go this year as the Grinch. So as you can see the picture right here, I was sitting in the Hollywood kind of chair, makeup chair, and they started to put layer on by layer of my face. And by the time that I was done, I got my car, and that's what I looked like. It was quite amazing. And I'm not joking. You should have seen what happened from the time I left, which is about 6 miles away from here, and drove, and I was going through town, and every stoplight, I had people beeping and waving and things like that. It was absolutely hilarious. And no joke, I even thought about going to the grocery store after just to have some fun and stuff like that, just to see people. But what happened is I'm like, oh my goodness, this stuff, every time you moved and talked, you felt it pull on your face and everything. So I watched Jim Carrey's Grinch, and it was kind of funny because he said it was torture. It was a little bit for the things that happen, you have that old prosthetic face put on you, but it was so much fun. We had such a great time. It was great because the kids loved it. It was kind of like a mixed thing because I actually had the kids come in, and there was about 7 kids that just screamed, like cried immensely, and I was like, oh my goodness, that was awesome. And then, but the vast majority of kids, they loved it. We had fun. It was a great time having entertained, and then we had a wonderful Santa that did just a great job. So thank you for everybody involved in the North Pole event. We had a blast with everybody, and looking forward to our celebration even next year. It's free for the whole community. It's meant a community event. Come get free pictures with Santa and that. We have it done right there. We send it right to your phone, your email. It's fantastic. So now, as you can see, we are continuing our $100,000 this whole month giveaway. We have over $25,000 in giveaways today. We're going to get those in just a short time. But as you can see, we have all things going on. Every week we have some major things going on, so I'm excited. So knowing that, I'm going to send it over to our three wonderful people over there. We have Aaron, we have Christy, and we have Dr. Bryce. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good
morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. We are so glad that you're here joining us. It's always so much fun interacting with everybody. So what do we have today? We have the holiday travel bundle. As you can see, there are a bunch of different things, all really great for when you're traveling to the in-laws or wherever you're going to be able to help your body, support your body through it, including chocolate. But here are some of those things: Albizia, silver, betaine, Wellzymes, D3K2, relax, and potassium, as well as there is even a travel herb bag. So a few of these things will be put together in various bundles, and we'll be giving them away today.
Yes, lots of chocolate too.
Type in bundle if you're interested in one of those.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure you guys type that in there. That way we know what you guys are interested in, because we also have a lot of other amazing things. We have a 6-month care plan that we're going to be giving away to a very unique person today, very special person. And we are also going to be giving away new patient appointments, new patient test reads, and a bunch more things as well. So if you guys would like a new patient appointment, so this means you cannot already be seeing a doctor. So someone who is interested in care and would like that gift from us to you guys, make sure you guys put new patient in there as well. Otherwise, what else do we have this morning, Erin?
Well, there are terms and conditions on the ADP website. Be sure to check those out. We won't bore you with all that stuff. But as always, we have our Academy winner, which I love this every day. So our Academy winner this week found Dr. Patrick in 2020 on Facebook. Yeah, that was probably a volatile time on Facebook for us. So she also attended one of his talks in 2021 and has been on her health journey ever since, and sharing the info she learns from the Wellness Way and encouraging others to do their own research. So congratulations, Andrea Stearns. You are the recipient of our tuition award. So fabulous. So I think there's something else.
I'm feeling a little generous. I think I might give away a cookbook. So if you're interested in a cookbook, type in cookbook and you just might be a winner.
Yes. All right.
All right. So lots of stuff that we're giving away. So congratulations, Andrea, winning the scholarship that way. Also, thank you, Christy, for actually being more generous and decided to give a cookbook away. So I said, it's kind of funny. We always have these set things, but we always seem to do more than we always predict every single year. It's Christmas season. We love giving away stuff. So stay engaged. Like I said, type in bundle, type in cookbook, type all the things that you want in there and interact. So, but as you remember, during this 12 days of Christmas that we do have, there's each supplement that we go over every single week live. You can see right here. Last week went through California Poppy, Oregon Grape, Vitamin D, Echinacea, and also colloidal silver. This upcoming week, we're going to go through the other 5 supplements. You can also get those on the website. You can see there's a QR code right there, or just go to thewellnessway.com and go to supplements. You can see the things that we do have there. It's a discount during the season time that we do have. Now, as Christy decided to give away another free cookbook just about a couple weeks ago, we put up this slide right here where you can get the cookbook, you can get the I Disagree book, and I Still Disagree book for the same price that you buy the cookbook for. For example, guys, no joke, the cookbook is $49.95. We have sold thousands across the world, and it's kind of cool because what we decided to do for Christmas is add our 2 books. So the only way you get this bundle is using that QR code right there. And so grab your phone, QR code, guess what happens? And if you are watching it on your phone right now, just screenshot, and then you can come back and send it to your email, and you can actually send it to somebody else, and you guys can get the bundle that way. But you get the I From Scratch cookbook, the I Disagree book, and the I Still Disagree book for the same price. Because remember, I think each one of my books are like $25, and the From Scratch book is $49.95. So basically, you get $100 worth of books for the half the price that's there. So it's kind of exciting. Now, once again, as we continue to give away things, remember, always go to our website. Now, this morning, Aaron, I jumped on this morning and read our newsletter. It was kind of neat. And there was the articles that go there. They link to all wonderful things you can do. So remember, go to our website, scroll down. You can actually see, you can put your email addresses. All we do is we do a wonderful newsletter. It comes out every single week. But remember, the most important part of our website is go to the top right of the website. You can see the Find the Clinic button, and you can actually have our clinics. You can see them all right there. And soon, we're going to be sending off a couple of our interns next week. We have Dr. Jesse and Dr. Sean. They'll be leaving here soon as they're going to go back to the Virginia area. It's kind of great. They're still interning. It's kind of awesome watching this happen. And it's kind of funny. I had somebody, Stephanie, said we're all to lunch yesterday. And she goes, I hate this. I'm like, yeah, I've had interns for 20 years. They come in and they go. And it's not that you still don't spend lots of time with them, but it's just different when you can spend every day with them compared to sending them off to the world for them to go out and do great things. So that being said, we're going to continue our series on heart disease and statins in the cardiovascular system. So let's move into our perspective for today. All right, so to continue our series on cholesterol and statins, last week we set up pretty well for the things that were going on. We're going to build upon what we did last week. We're going to recap a couple of things from last week, and then we're going to build upon something that a lot of people do not know. I was so surprised, and it's going to be our main topic for today. I'm going to leave it till we build into it. I was so surprised all of a sudden someone came in. It's very common for males, especially over age of 40, taking some form of statin. It's getting, progressively worse where they're giving it to younger and younger and younger. And the sad part was, it was like I asked them one simple question of something that they looked up, and it actually changed the dynamic, the way they look at statins, the way they look at cholesterol, but also the way they look at heart disease. So we're going to build upon that today after we recap a little bit of what we did last week. And then once again, I believe that as we progress through, I was kind of writing out the next couple of trainings, and I realized that we're going to probably be in this mode of cholesterol and statins probably into the no sugar January, because you're going to see in the next week and the week after, we're going to cover a little bit how that is affected by it. So if we take a look right here, let's kind of recap cholesterol a little bit right here. As you can see, cholesterol is a type of lipid, a fat that is essential for the body to function properly. We talked about a lot last week. It is the waxy fat-like substance found in cells of the body and in certain foods. Cholesterol plays very critical roles, including, once again, we talked about it, cell membranes. Okay, that was very important, the whole structure. We talked about even hormone production. We went in detail of the vitamin D synthesis and also bile production. Okay, those things are just 4 functions that are just greatly known, and its essential role for cholesterol. And so if you think of it this way, if you had 0 cholesterol in the body, you would actually lack cell membrane repair, hormone production, vitamin D synthesis, bile production, and more. So therefore, that's why I said it's very essential. But if you notice that when you talk to the vast majority of people and you say cholesterol, everybody thinks it's negative right away, as much more positive than negatives. Now, can it contribute to negativity? Absolutely. So I'm not, and we talked a little bit about that last week too. We're going to build upon that through the weeks coming in the future. Now, if we look, this is when we talk about cell membranes, you can see there's a cholesterol layer in both bilipid layers of the cell membranes. That's important. Helps with temperature regulation, helps with fluid regulation. They are very important to the whole structure of every cell in the body. So if you look at your hand, that's, millions upon millions and millions of cells put together. There's a significant amount of cholesterol there. I want you to understand that, because we so think about cholesterol when it comes to your heart, because you say, what organ does cholesterol relate the most to? People say cardiovascular, and that's a very small fraction of what happens through the whole body. So it's very important to know that. But speaking of the cardiovascular system, I want you to think about this. We talked a lot last week about if there's damage to any of the arterial system, there's going to be some issues. So for example, injury can happen from multiple reasons, from physical trauma, actually it can be from radiation, there can be chronic and systemic inflammation on the inside, damaging the endothelial layer. And guess what happens? If there is damage to artery, you're going to notice there's going to be some clotting and some things that happen that try to plug that hole. I used the example of having a plugged hose last week. Now, if you understand that clotting happens, it wraps up some cholesterol molecules and other things to help repair that injured area. Now, of course, we know that can turn into plaque. But as we understand, though, that cholesterol is not the only molecule in there. We know that there's calcium in there. We know that it takes certain immune cells like macrophages and dendritic cells. So if we look at all the factors that actually really relate to, once again, plaque formation, it's not just cholesterol. Is it a contributing factor? Sure it is. But you got to remember, what really came first, the chicken or egg? Was it the damaged artery that came first, or did the cholesterol damage the artery? Well, it'd be very hard for me to think of the second one, even though they convince people that high circulating LDL damaged arteries. Well, we're going to debate on that a little bit today. even more, because once again, now I believe that once there is damage, you've got to be a little concerned about circulating cholesterol. But if we look at cholesterol just in general, we talk a lot about arterial health in the cardiovascular realm, but let's widen that branch of some things besides what we know about for the other things, okay? If we look, now think about this. Here we go. The importance of cholesterol in the body. Cholesterol is used by the body as a raw material for the healing process. This is the reason why injured areas in the arteries, as well as in atherosclerosis, have cholesterol along with several other components, such as calcium and collagen in the scar tissue that is formed to heal the wound, okay? That's what you ever notice. There's no doubt they say the hardening of the arteries. I understand that. There's some contributing factors, including collagen. So I want you to think about this. You ever see a scar that you do have? Let's say you have a major cut and see a scar. Do you know it's a little tougher than other areas of your skin? Why? Because there's actually less fatty acid deposits and there's more connective tissue and calcium and old immune cells that kind of pack it in like a brick. And that's why it's a little bit different texture. And that's why it's actually, a little harder. And see, but it's needed for wound healing. You'd never do this. You'd never have some reducing wound. If you had a large cut and the body was trying to close up, you'd say, no, we need to take a drug to stop that from plaquing up. Well, see, that makes no sense, does it? See, but because it happens in the cardiovascular system and it can build up, that's why they think of it that way. But remember, if you didn't do that, we would have very low wound healing. This is one I want to go a little bit more in today too, is this. Here we go. Cholesterol is found in large amounts. Let me say it again, large amounts in the brain tissue, where it's needed for normal brain function. Research has shown that cholesterol is vital to older people whose memory is in decline, okay? Another one, cholesterol is very important and infants need plenty of it for proper brain development. Cholesterol is normally found in large amounts in human breast milk. Infant formulas usually contain little to no cholesterol because of the widespread lack of understanding about cholesterol, okay? And that's why we see some of the things that happen, and they've compared children that actually were breastfed compared to not breastfed and the consequences of not breastfeeding. Once again, it's like I always tell people, look at what happens when a lot of women say, Doc, I can honestly tell you, they come and say, I'm losing, my production of breast milk. And I look at them and they're on kind of like a, more of a vegetable, vegan-based diet that way. I'm like, guys, listen, you need to actually increase your dietary factors of certain fats that are going to lead to your production of breast milk. Because a lot of people realize there's a lot of cholesterol and fat and sugar within breast milk. That's why I've ever noticed. Do you ever notice this? That your baby's born and all of a sudden they start breastfeeding and then they start to look like the Marshmallow Man? You notice that? it's like the Michelin tire man. That's what they look like. They get all the chubbers. Cute as a button. My daughters are tall and skinny, and guess what happens? They were little, what's those dogs that have all the wrinkles? They're all puffy up, and you know what I'm saying? They're just cute as a button. What's that? Sharpay. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like that's what they kind of look like. I kind of find it quite funny that way. So, but that happens from having good breast milk production and them having it. Okay, let's look at the next one. Here we go. If we look at the adrenal and gonadal hormones, you can see right here are made from cholesterol. They are stress handling, energy producing, and reproductive hormone. This is why serum cholesterol levels normally elevate in excess or prolonged stress. Okay, we need to all know this. If you guys know, I've mapped out the cycle, once again, as far as dividing up into 4 simple weeks. And you understand that your cholesterol levels do change based on the demand hormonally. We've seen this happen all the time. If all of a sudden I have a major stressful event, or let's say you are attacked or very stressed out mentally, you're going to see an elevation of cholesterol to produce those steroid hormones for you can adapt to the stress. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because we're going to show you what happens when you start to lower those cholesterol levels. Let's take a look at here, especially being a chiropractor. This is very important. Cholesterol is vital for nerve function. 3/4 of the myelin membranes is made from fat, and that are nearly 1/4 is cholesterol. Brain synapses, the vital connection with brain, between brain nerves and cells in the brain, are made almost entirely from cholesterol. Ooh, you understand? So it's to understand the vital importance of it. So if we go back to the arteriosclerosis and all the heart conditions that people are dealing with, I do not deny that there is a cholesterol factor that is within the plaquing. But which came first? So does cholesterol cause problems or respond to the problems? And I want you to always think about that, because if you kind of come from that standpoint that the body's always trying to adapt to this environment. I can honestly tell you, this week, man, one morning it was 13 below, okay? It was 13 below. And if I decide to walk outside, which I did many times, just because I kind of like cold air a little bit. But if I stay out there long enough, even in clothes, my body's going to pull its blood towards my core. That wasn't a dumb situation. The body didn't make a mistake. It was very important for it to do it. Why? Because it said, listen, I got to preserve my vital organs, so it springs there. If I was dumb enough to stay out there too long, I could actually damage certain things. But it wasn't because the body was not smart. It wasn't because it wasn't responding to what's going on. It's trying to survive. So you always understand that the body's trying to adapt. So that's why when you look at when the body makes certain things and why it responds a certain way, there has to be some factor that leads to it, or even multiple factors. So if we kind of look at how things circulate when things like this happen, there's ways that, for example, that we look the types of cholesterol. Because once again, cholesterol is a waxy substance, but it's delivered through the body by multiple factors. So here it is. The types. Cholesterol is carried by lipoproteins, which come in different types. LDL. And this is where, once again, they refer to as bad, which, once again, I kind of find that quite hilarious considering the vast majority of your cholesterol is produced in your liver and carried by a low-density lipoprotein. And then you look at this way, high-density lipoprotein. I don't know why they call it good. It removes excess cholesterol. Well, there's a lot of things in your body that does that. There's very low density, which contains a high number of triglycerides to contribute. That means it's more packed. Triglycerides, another type of fat in the blood, often measured alongside cholesterol levels. These things are very important to understand because you know what the body's going to respond. But if they just think of it this way, you automatically demonize something that your liver produces. You cannot eat HDL. You cannot even eat LDL. It's very important to understand that these are proteins that are put together within your liver. They compact different cholesterol and triglycerides and other factors. And that's why if you ever notice, you ever think this way, the more fatty something gets, the less protein it has. That means it'll have a lower density level. Okay? So you have a lower density lipoprotein. Why? Because what it does, and that's why I kind of find it funny. People are like, well, the molecule can wiggle its way in. Does anybody know, if you look at size of the particles, which is smaller, HDL or LDL? People realize, think about this. They are carrier lipoproteins, which means, once again, when it's just a protein, it's less dense, more dense, and it's less dense as it gets more fat and different molecules to it. So when it leaves the liver, it's full of a ton of triglycerides and cholesterol, and as it drops it off, it actually becomes an HDL because now it's more highly dense, and that returns back to the system. So the concept that, okay, LDL can wiggle its way into an artery, well, what about HDL? It's much smaller. It's more high dense. You don't have all the fat that's in there. See, so that's why this concept of it is very different. So what I want to do for you guys is the fact that I wanted to pull up something from the American Heart Association, because people like to go to that. Now, just to let you know, the American Heart Association, once again, gets most of its money from pharmaceutical companies. But let's take a look at what they say, and I'll show you the contradiction here when you read it. Cholesterol 101. If you're reading this, you probably care about your health and the role cholesterol can play. That is an important first step. So what is cholesterol? What does it do? Okay, we love it right here. Cholesterol is a waxy substance throughout the body. It's not bad, okay, unless you have too much of it. Your body needs to build cells and make vitamins and other hormones, but too much cholesterol can pose a problem. Okay, now here's one thing. Can it pose a problem or show that there is a problem? Let me say it again. See, that's a different perspective. Can it pose a problem, or does it show that there's an alarming problem going on? For example, if I have high LDL, the question should be, okay, why? There was a reason why the liver put that in circulation. Why? And we got to find out. Now, it could be as simple as you consume way too much sugar, and therefore the liver can only store so much glycogen, and it doesn't want to develop major fatty liver disease, so it starts circulating through the body. Well, okay, I would agree with you that the high LDL circulation is not a good thing. But what happened? Were you just a little too sassy during the holidays and it jumped up? Did the Grinch come and force sugar down your mouth? And now you blame your mom and dad for genetic factors? You saying? So I can go through all these things like crazy, but let's keep going on, okay? Cholesterol, let's go on third paragraph. Cholesterol comes from two sources. Your liver makes all the cholesterol you need. Hold the phone. So I got a simple question for you. I want to come back to this. When did your liver start making bad stuff for your heart? I want you to think about it this way. You have to think the body is a broken down, dumb machine when you just demonize cholesterol the way it is. Okay, let's go back to it. The remainder of the cholesterol in your body comes from food from animals. For example, meat, poultry, and dairy products also contain dietary cholesterol. Those same foods can also be high in saturated and trans fats. Ooh, I love how they compare those two things. And I love how if you look, they highlight fats. Do you understand saturated fats and trans fats are dramatically different? But they call saturated and trans, okay? These fats can increase the cholesterol in your body. From some people, they add cholesterol means they go from a normal cholesterol level to one that's unhealthy, all right? Let's keep going on. Why cholesterol matters? Cholesterol circulates in the blood. As the amount of cholesterol in your blood increases, so there's a risk of your health. High cholesterol contributes to a high risk of cardiovascular disease, such as heart disease and stroke. That's why it's important to have your cholesterol tested so you can know your levels. Now, let's go back to that paragraph again. Let's look at this again. So does the risk to your health? Okay, wait, the amount of cholesterol your blood increases, so does the risk to your health. Well, once again, is it the cholesterol that's the problem or all the other factors that lead to high cholesterol in the first place? Here, the two types of cholesterol are LDL, which is bad. Now, once again, I always say it's not bad, but now they almost demonize LDL just as bad. Okay, do you understand? No matter what they do, no matter what they do, you will always have circulating LDL, period. Your body just needs daily functional things. That's why the vast majority of cholesterol is made by liver. But now they almost go from, well, it's not bad, to LDL. Okay, let's go back to it, which is bad. HDL, which is good. Too much of the bad kind or not enough of the good kind increases the risk. Cholesterol will slowly build up in the inner walls of the arteries, such as those that feed the heart and the brain. Okay, but why those arteries? Why not every other artery across the body? Okay, let's keep going. Cholesterol can join the other substances to form thick, hard deposits on the inside of the arteries. This narrows the arteries. It makes it less flexible. The condition known as atherosclerosis. This can lead to blood clotting forms and then block one of them narrowed arteries, causing heart attack or stroke. When it comes to cholesterol, remember to check your cholesterol levels, change, and control, okay? So if you look at, for example, I understand what they're trying to conceptualize. Now, once again, which comes first, the damage or the cholesterol levels? And I'm here to tell you this. If you think about it, when it comes to cholesterol levels, a baby has circulating LDL levels. A baby has circulating HDL levels. So I don't like that they demonize, once again, high levels based on the fact that that's the cause of the problem. It's a response. Once again, if all of a sudden somebody twists their ankle, I'm going to see a high inflammatory immune response. Now people will demonize inflammation. Well, it becomes damaging when there's no full repair, and then the tissue starts to degenerate compared to regenerate. So now, there's one thing that I want you to understand, though, is this. Let's take a look. Low-density lipoprotein cholesterol target, changing the goalpost. What? What do you mean? Well, guess what happens? Current guidelines from the NCEP, for 2004 update, recommended LDL levels of less than 100 as the appropriate target patients with the risk of developing coronary heart disease. Do you understand? Before that, it was 150. And what they found out was this on that panel. 9 out of 10 doctors were, 9 doctors were on there. 8 of the doctors on the panel were also board members of the drug companies that manufacture statin cholesterol-lowering drugs. Okay, I want you to think about it this way. This is the stuff that I'm hoping that RFK and our current administration, our new administration come in, can stop. I have no problem with actually, they say trust the science. How can you trust that? How can you? Just by nature, it makes no sense. There's a major conflict of interest that way because therefore, on the board, you get more money. Board business goes out of business, you get no money. And the sad part is this is very common what happens. And the sad part is this, if you look at when we talked about some of the things that happen as people get older, I wish that they do some research and show what happens if cholesterol levels stay up as you get older. Oh, wait, they do. High total cholesterol levels in late life associated with the risk, with reduced risk of dementia. That's why if you understand, look at some of the major effects that do happen. Your brain, your immune system, your hormonal system, your endocrine system uses a cholesterol to produce certain things, including neurological tissue. We just talked about it. And that's why, once again, don't disagree that as you do get older, you're in a higher state of repair. So therefore, going levels up shows a reduced risk of cognitive decline. And it's just, we have to take a look at this. And I really want you guys to understand this. And this is our major factor we're talking about today. The body makes most of the cholesterol needed in a day, especially in the liver. It's the major factor it does it. Now, there's certain pathways that, as you guys know, on the show, I've taught you hormonal pathways. I've taught you immune pathways from, something that went from a simple thing as far as like all the steroid hormones, which I'm going to go into a little bit when we talk about how this is affected. But the idea is this: there's certain pathways of how the immune cells start from, the bone marrow and go to different tissues and metabolize and change into and grow into specific immune cells and T and B cells and how it adapts to different infections. All this stuff is great. But there's pathways, once again, that your body does to make cholesterol. Now here, once again, I want to just show this is the nerdy science stuff that I love studying and going through. And this is basic. We learned this way back in college too. And once again, as you can see, we're gonna take specific ingredients like acetyl-CoA and transform it. This happens mostly in the liver, but also in other cells. And you can see, once again, there's different pathway. It converts and converts first. And if you go over to the bottom side right, you can see after all this, you have cholesterol made. You have coenzyme Q10, certain sterols, certain dolichones, some heme A. So after all this pathway, some of the major factors of actually producing is not only cholesterol, but other things that we do need, like coenzyme Q10. But if you look at what happens, medications, once again, they don't, once again, lower cholesterol. What happens is, you can see in this path right here, one of the statin medications is known as an HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor. So it takes a major enzyme and it inhibits it. So therefore, you can see where that interferes with the liver pathway or the cellular pathway, and then you don't get those factors that are produced. Bottom right. So if we just see this way, I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine, look at the top again, top left, coenzyme or acetyl-CoA. I want you to think about that A. And then you go to the next word, and B, and C, and D, and E. And all the way at the bottom over to right, that's Z, cholesterol. And Z1 is, or Z2, let's say, would be coenzyme Q10. Z3 is sterol. And if you look, what you're noticing is that to get from A to Z, there's certain steps. And what they do is they get between C and D and inhibit that step. So everything after that does not happen. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Does statin drugs normalize your cholesterol, or does it manipulate your liver and inhibit its production? See, it doesn't get your cholesterol back normal, because the minute you stop taking it, what happens? Why didn't say it goes up? That's bad. Well, why did it go up? Why is your body trying to do that? Well, let's continue. The effects of statin drugs on skeletal muscle, a perspective from physical therapists. Now, one of the very major high common side effects of statins is muscle pain, even muscle loss, even wasting. And the sad part is this: they try to downplay it like it's nothing. Remember, let's do this. People come in with pain all the time. It's very common today. Not only from just having systemic inflammation and getting no change on it, but just statin drugs alone. A vast majority of males come in as a doc, I'm in so much pain. You start to come back to some of the history, and a lot of it started with this. And now why? Well, as we continue to see here, let's go on. So hyperlipidemia, also known as high blood cholesterol, is a cardiovascular health risk that affects 1/3 of American or 1/3 adults in the US. Statins are commonly prescribed and successful lipid-lowering medications that reduce the risk associated, I love it, risk associated with cardiovascular disease, once again, but it's not directly caused. The side effects most commonly associated with statin use involve muscle cramping, soreness, fatigue, weakness, and in rare cases, rapid muscle breakdown that can lead to death. Okay, I want you to think about this. And the reason why that happens is, if you think about it this way, one of the major things that we need for muscle energy, ATP, mitochondrial function, is coenzyme Q10. Let's go back to this. Let's go back a little bit here. Coenzyme Q10. So if we take a look, the whole focus is on cholesterol. But when you inhibit that HMG-CoA reductase being an inhibitor, when this happens, you also stop the production of cholesterol, coenzyme Q10, sterols, heme A, and dolichones. So it's a major domino effect. It's not just reducing there. And that's why in several countries, it's malpractice if you do not give coenzyme Q10 with statins. I want you to think about that. Now let's take a look here. Coenzyme Q10 and statin-induced mitochondrial dysfunction. Oh, let's take a look how crazy this is. Coenzyme Q10 is an important factor in mitochondrial respiration. Primary and secondary deficiencies of coenzyme Q10 result in a number of what? Neurological. Okay, so we're talking about muscles too, but myopathic syndromes, but neurological. Coenzyme Q10 reductase inhibitors or statins interfere with the production of the malonic acid as the precursor to synthesis of coenzyme Q10. The statin medications routinely result in lowered coenzyme Q10 levels in the serum. Some studies have also shown reduction of coenzyme Q10 in muscles tissues. Such coenzyme Q10 deficiencies may be one mechanism of statin-induced myopathies. However, coenzyme Q10 supplements have not been shown to routinely improve muscle function. See, that's one thing. Now, I think it's essential that you need to take coenzyme Q10 if you're taking a statin. But because it's such a detrimental factor to all your tissue cells, because there's cholesterol everywhere. Every cell needs coenzyme Q10 in order to actually produce, like I said, mitochondrial respiration. Mitochondria exists in every cell. And so therefore, the reason why I believe that they're never going to do it, because you have to supplement so much coenzyme Q10, I actually think those would be kind of be a little toxic levels. Because even when you take a statin, I would recommend between 300 and 500 milligrams, but guess what happens? That I think is so deficiently when you're taking a statin, and people, those are extremely high doses to try to take because it's such a negative effect on neurological and myopic things. So it's not just muscle pain, ligament, Alzheimer's, dementia, and other psychiatric issues that can result from these things. It's kind of crazy. Let's continue. Coenzyme Q10 in cardiovascular and metabolic disease, current state of the problem. Okay, I want you to think about this. You need coenzyme Q10 to have good muscle function, no atrophy. Can you tell me what the heart is made of? It's a big muscle that goes consistently. It never stops. And if it does, it's a bad day. But the idea is this: when you look at these things going on, cardiovascular, they take statin drugs to lower cholesterol, which affects your coenzyme Q10, which affects the function of your heart. Let's take a look. Coenzyme Q10 is the essential compound of the human body, which is synthesized in the mitochondria in the membrane. The molecule coenzyme Q10 is highly lipophilic character, and the base is structure. We'll skip that. It's indicated that the number. We'll skip that too. All right. It should be taken into consideration that coenzyme exists in two forms. Now, in the body, coenzyme Q10 is found in all systems of organs. The highest concentration of coenzyme Q10 is observed in the heart, kidney, liver, and muscles. So if we take a look, here's the highest concentration in all of the organs. So not only when you take a statin, you affect the heart, you affect the kidney, you affect the livers, the muscle. If you look at it this way, we talk about muscle pain being the biggest side effect. Look at the deficiencies in called the heart, kidney, and liver, the brain, the pancreas, spleen. Every organ, the concentration that it does have, statin drugs have a negative effect on all of these organs. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? So we think, oh, I'm lowering my cholesterol levels. I'm going to affect my heart. You're going to affect your heart negatively from causing muscle damage, kidneys. And that's why you ever see there's blood sugar and other things that come from statins. Now, one of the major causes of death in the world is cardiovascular disease. Oxidative stress, once again, is considered to be an essential player in the development of groups of diseases. In such a way, this leads to the theory that antioxidants can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. Indeed, 3 out of 4 patients with heart disease have what? Low levels of coenzyme Q10. It was noticed that coenzyme Q10 plasma levels in patients with ischemic heart disease and dilated cardiomyopathy are much lower than healthy ones. Depending on the severity of heart injury, circulating levels of coenzyme Q10 decrease in direct proportion to disease progression. There are several theories about the role of coenzyme Q10 mechanism in action in cardiovascular disease. See, if you look at it this way, think about how, for example, that number one, low coenzyme Q10, if not put in your diet and eaten on a regular basis, guess what happens? Can lead to a lot of issues. But then if you take statins and deplete it even more, its production by its own natural physiological processes. Remember, you interfere with those pathways of conversion and production. Yes, you can have less circulating cholesterol. You really can. But you also have other less circulating things. Now, I know it's really funny because here's a catchphrase they use with vaccines the whole career when they see so much damage from something. The benefit outweighs the risk. Well, that's a far stretch on most medical practices, but I will tell you this, is do you even explain the risk to people? Because how you end up knowing that they're having a negative side effect is the fact that people go through very bad things and like, yeah, that can happen, but the benefits outweigh the risks, which once again is anybody doctor that says that to you, run. Do you understand? Because they just say, here's the benefits, here's risks, you choose. Okay, because here's what happens this. When you look at this, I don't believe the benefits outweigh the risk on this stuff. Here we go. Secondarily, coenzyme Q10 plays a great role in heart energetic needs. For example, the process of cardiac contraction, which involves the release of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum and the following activation of the contractile protein energies. So just giving an example is heart contraction. You also see the anti-inflammatory effect it has to the heart. So these things are very important. So coenzyme Q10 has a major positive effect on the muscle structure of it and how it even contracts. That's why people say, Doc, I'm just so tired. I understand. You're on a statin drug, you'll have low energy, you have low muscle contracting, you can have muscle wasting. So forget about the arteries for a second. You're actually damaging your heart. Highest concentration of coenzyme Q10 is in the concentration of the organ of the heart. It's in all organ systems, but it's really significant in the heart. And by the time that you get the muscles, which is fifth on the list, that's actually not even the highest concentration where it's needed. Yet statin drugs affect this very negatively and drive down our coenzyme Q10. Now, what foods have coenzyme Q10? Oh, believe it or not, organ meats. Highest concentration. Big surprise. People, why I love organ meats so much. Heart, liver, kidney. Some muscle meats also. Pork, beef, and chicken. Some fatty fish, trout, herring, mackerel, and sardines. Love sardines. Have them in the refrigerator right now. Legumes, soybeans, lentils, and peanuts. Nuts and seeds, sesame seeds, and pistachios. These things have high coenzyme Q10. Now, yes, can you supplement with coenzyme Q10? Yes, there's about 100 milligrams in each one of the capsules. I think it's 150 now because we jumped it up a little bit that way. But you're right, it provides nutrient to coenzyme Q10. We get this from a food source. It's very important. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I would rather see you eat the good things than supplement with it. But I still believe that if you take a statin drug, you need to supplement at a very high level due to the fact that it draws so much from your body. And therefore, that's why even sometimes taking it in research, they don't see much change in muscle or neurological changes because it just affects every cell in your body. Okay. That being said, I tell people, you should be doing these things on a regular basis. You should look at the benefit of the cholesterol. You should make sure, for example, that you are not having systemic inflammation because I believe that can lead to damage, as we talked about last week, and the endothelials and the vessels. And then guess what? High circulating cholesterol levels can be kind of scary because it will build up over time. So I'm not saying that that you want extremely high cholesterol levels. I'm saying the fact that if they're elevated, why? Why? I want you to think about that. Always understand why. And that's what you need to work on to bring those to a good level. But even with trying to lower levels, I think there's a major conflict of interest of why statin drugs did not get the sales that they wanted, so they had to change it. Now it seems like everybody's on a statin, especially if you're a male over 40. And it's kind of scary. All right. That being said, let's go over to our wonderful crew and let's do some wonderful giveaways. So ladies and gentlemen over there, what do we have for everybody?
Oh, we have a lot of excited people once
We got a
again.
lot.
It was amazing to interact and just see the excitement. Okay, so the winners of the travel bundles, we have Nancy Singer, Katie _Ann 26, Kathy Claver, Georgia Meyer, Jenny Bostick, Marie Louise Brazi-Irat, TGMD61156 at AOL.com, and bear with me on this one, 19LMEINE89 at gmail.com. So congratulations to all of you. You've won various different items in this, the bundles. We'll put them together and send them on out to you.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right. I've got some new patients. Jennifer Powell-Bird, Chris Lanham, and there's something that I noticed today. A lot of people are in the gifting spirit, and a lot of people have reached out. Like, I would love this for someone else, not even for themselves. And that's such a huge, like, that warms our heart, right? That's right where we are. So Mo Asquist, I'm excited for you to bless your brother with a new patient appointment. TJ and Tanisha L. So Go ahead.
And I have more new patients. And again, on top of that, similar to what we did last week, we're actually going to be adding a test read appointment for the next 4 here. And then we have our 6-month care plan as well. So first one is Tina Exworthy. And again, this is for her husband. So I'm very happy for you to be able to share that with him and get him started under care. We also have Christy Wiley. And then we have Jess J, and this is, again, one for her husband, and then Catherine for her child who's struggling with some things. So we are very excited for all of you guys. And then our 6-month care plan is going to go to Sarah Simpson. So thank you so much for all of the great comments and interactions and everything. So we hope you really enjoy that and that it helps you out.
Yes.
The cookbook. Lots of interest in the cookbook. Thank you guys. Warms my heart. So the winner of the cookbook is Janice Trotter. So congratulations. I will sign this and get this off to you. So we have some exciting news. Me and Dr. Alex are putting together, for anyone who has not yet purchased their cookbook or a cookbook, we have a special little giveaway that we put together. So Dr. Alex is my co-author in From Scratch. And so this is what we have put together. She is giving away 12 months of care. And this is what you need to do. You need to purchase a cookbook between 12/13, so yesterday, and the 31st of this month. You need to be not a current patient of the Wellness Way. So this is for new people. Follow us on Instagram at fromscratch.cookbook. And find that giveaway post, and you're going to share it with 2 of your friends. Take 2 of your friends, and you may just be picked to win 12 months of care from the Dr. Alex Fennelly out in Montana. So take part in that. If you haven't already purchased your cookbook and you're new to the Wellness Way, it could be exciting. What do you think about that, Patrick?
Oh, me? All right, I'm literally answering questions as I'm sitting here. I'm not joking. Okay, Kyle, come back to me and stuff like that, or Aiden, come back to me. But I was literally during the thing, literally answering questions to you guys on there. So me and Dr. Bryce and Dr. Lucas and a bunch of our docs are always asking questions. So as you guys I popped on, unless you heard a little noise, I popped on Facebook and I was live. I'm like, oh, I want to answer some questions for you guys because we really enjoy that. Thank you for all you guys that are. I'm gonna do something. Aaron, for those people that you said wanted a gift for their family, why don't you have them email, and actually, why don't we give them a free supplement on top of their kindness that they're doing for their family members that way and stuff. Because like I said, think about it this way. That's the one thing we like. We give away thousands of dollars of stuff every single week. We do try to do stuff that way. Our company is big. And I said, and not a joke, when I started, Chris and I weren't married, but she gave me money to drive to my internship and do certain things, and we were extremely poor. And then Christy and I would drive around the poor neighborhoods here in Green Bay, and we were just enamored how good they were living. That's how poor we were. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of giving when people need help that way and stuff like that. So when you guys have giving spirit like that, do me a favor. Why don't you, Aaron, grab their email address and stuff like that, and why don't we send them a gift for just being so kind and stuff. So God bless you guys. You guys are pretty awesome. So therefore, that being said, next week we'll continue it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go, as we normally do, over to the Wellness Way website on adp.thewellnessway.com, and that's our stuff that goes behind TW Clinics. I apologize, TW Plus, our platform. But I'm going to cover once again. I got one of my docs sent me a lab of a patient that was taking pellets, and so I'm going to give you my very strong clinical opinion on that, especially because we have her labs and then what she was going through before and what she was going through after. So we're going to switch over to adp.thewellnessway.com. So you can just switch over there right now. And if you're already on our TW Plus platform, you can jump over there and we'll go live over there. So otherwise, for you guys, we'll see the rest of you guys next week.